Welcome guys to the newest episode of Single Chefin. We have a pick for the next episode. So what are we going to be doing today? We are going to be making turkey chili. Really simple ingredients, really quick. For the side, like I showed you guys, we're going to be making a baked macaroni and cheese. Also super simple, literally like 3 ingredients in it. And this should be done, I would say, within an hour, including cooking, but let's get to it. What are we gonna be using? Obviously, ground turkey. So ground turkey, we're going to be using this pot for the chili. We're also going to be using onion, garlic, 1 Scotch bonnet pepper, super spicy, some fresh cherry tomatoes, add a little freshness to the chili, cilantro, just because I have it and there's only a few, some sun-dried tomatoes that I'll chop up in there. We're gonna use 2 beans in this. We're gonna use red kidney beans, which is classic, and then I'm gonna throw cannellini beans in there. And I don't go heavy with the tomato sauce, so what I typically use is some salsa, and then I'll put some sofrito in there for additional flavor. This is great. It just has red pepper, green pepper, onion, tomato, garlic. So basically everything that you want in there. That'll basically be the chili component. And then for our baked macaroni and cheese, I will make a roux and I'll show you how to do that. So we're gonna need butter and flour for that, which I don't have on hand right now. But outside of that, I don't use regular milk. I'm gonna be using cashew milk for the roux. We're gonna be using penne rigate pasta for it. I don't like the elbows, they're too small. I think this holds the sauce a little bit better, and I like mine that way. And then for the cheeses, we're gonna use white cheddar cheese, sharp white cheddar cheese, New York cheddar cheese, and a little bit of Monterey Jack because that's what I have left. Also, quick tip, when you're making macaroni and cheese in general, always better to get block cheese and just shred it real quick. It just tastes a lot better than just buying the shredded cheese that's been sitting in that bag for God knows how long. So anyway, all right, let's get to it. So I have water here that is already salted. I'll let it come to a boil so we can take care of our pasta. And yeah, let's get into it. All right, guys, so we are going to start with first our onion. Get that going. Throw that into the pot. Our ground turkey has already been thawed, so that's good to go and will cook pretty quick. So let's do that here. Onion, quick. We're gonna use the whole onion on this one. Again, we want I like my chili to have a lot of different components to it as far as the fresh ingredients. So again, that's why I'm using fresh cherry tomatoes and cilantro and things of that sort. So I want this to be kind of diced. So again, this end out, slice down, 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 and then across. That's the perfect dice that I want for this chili. That way it has a little bit of crunchiness to it. Oh, we got a few jumpers there. Garbage. Like I said, guys, always keep your work area clean, less clutter, always good. Here, we're gonna be using this stainless steel pot. This oil, which is olive oil. I like to flavor my oil, so we're gonna go with just a dash of red chili flake before we do anything. That goes in. Red chili flake. Cool. Beauty of a stainless steel pan. Generates heat really quickly. We'll drop this in here. That's what we want to hear. Cool. Let me go around. Alright. Cool. Turn the heat down to medium.
That way we don't have to like keep them back and forth. What's next here? Garlic, super quick. Simplest way to do it. Smash it, comes out. Cool. One. Chop this up, finally. This comes back in here. Beautiful. This Scotch bonnet pepper, super spicy. All I'm gonna do is just cut a little bit into this end here, just to release a little bit of that and let it heat up here too. So with these tomatoes, take it super rough chop on these two. All of this, all of that. You don't want garlic paper in your stuff, but just like give it a chop because they're gonna cook down. I'm gonna let the chili like simmer for a while. Sam, why don't you use a big tomato? I don't have big tomatoes. I only have cherry tomatoes like that, so that's why we're using this. But yeah, if it was a big tomato, same concept if you only have a big tomato, but it's about flavor, guys. All right, that's done. Let's also cut these up. Like I said, guys, I only had like a few left. Literally not even a handful. Only 3 of these. Beautiful. Good. So that's that. Let's take some cilantro out. Get rid of all of this stuff. Take like a few sprigs of cilantro. Stems of cilantro also really flavorful. Some people disregard them. Don't do that. It's really good. You can get rid of this. Let's just take a few of the cilantro, stem and all. Roll that up like this. Put these over to the side for our seasoning. Alright. Let me show you guys what we have here now. Alright, you guys come with me. You guys have a bird's eye view of the actual pot. All we have going on here is the onions, the garlic, the Scotch bonnet pepper, okay? Now, we're gonna put our seasoning. The chili, definitely cumin. Gotta have that as a great flavor. Go a little bit heavy on it. We didn't even put. We have some paprika. Again, great smoky flavor. Even though we added some garlic powder, never hurts. Accentuate it a little bit. Garlic powder. I'm on this kick of adding turmeric to everything, so just a little bit of turmeric. Not crazy, but a little bit of turmeric. I have this laying around. Just gonna add a little bit of this. I figure it'll help with the chili component of it. All right, awesome. Now, stir this all together. I wish you guys can smell this. It smells great. Okay. Let's add our main character. What I love about chili, obviously, one pot does it all. Comes together really quickly. Then you can let it sit while you're doing your other stuff. They're saying we're gonna get a crazy northeastern tomorrow. It's gonna be like supposedly 18 inches where I'm living right now in Jersey. So I figured, okay, let's make a chili. Chili is one of those things also that always tastes better the next day, like when you let it sit. So I figured let me make some of this today, get into it. Tomorrow I'll have this sitting around, watch the snow come down, see what that's all about. You know, why not add to it? 'Tis the season, as they say. So here we go. Now we're gonna let this brown. In the meantime, while this is gonna brown, I'm gonna go ahead and dump our pasta into this boiling water right here. Like I said, guys, it's already been salted. Very important with pasta, as soon as you put it in the water, even though it's salted, it's always important just to stir it around. Make sure your water is, or your flame rather, is on high. Stir it around. It's okay, we got a little spillage there. Let this come back to a boil. You guys come back over here. All right, we're back here. Cool. Let this come together. Now, you want it to be on a high heat. This was on a little bit lower than I'd like. That's okay, let it come back to heat. And then something else that I'm gonna throw in here, some jalapenos. I mean, it is chili, so let's do that. Incorporate it into our meat there. Stir this up. Boom. Let it mix down. That way you got little jalapeno pieces all into this. Nobody gets like super shocked. It's not like overkill. Cool. Incorporate our beans. So beans again, guys. Cannellini beans, not traditional red beans. So at this stage, you really want a nice browning of the turkey. If you're familiar with ground turkey, it's not easily browned, so at least just make sure you got some color. That's why we also incorporated a lot of the flavoring into the onions and stuff, so that could marry with the turkey itself. But it smells good. It smells good, it looks good, and that's all that matters. And I'm happy with it. So let's see. Like I was saying before, some people don't mind just using the bean straight out of the can. I don't like that goop or whatever it's sitting in, so I prefer to rinse it. And like I said, we're gonna use the traditional red beans and then the white cannellini beans. So that's what we're using here. Let me bring you guys back down to the pot here. You guys see? Nice. So this is browning away. So what I did with the jalapenos, like I showed you guys, is I kind of diced them up. You can see some of them are still whole like that. So all you do, just dice it up. What you don't definitely want to do is even mess with the Scotch bonnet pepper. Just let it like sweat off its heat. But you don't want to like crush it and get the seeds into this, because that's like a whole nother level. So let's take caution there. Let's bring in the rest of our fresh ingredients here. Aromatics, if you will. So again, just for a little fresh vibe, we got our cherry tomatoes, we got our cilantro, and then we also have our sun-dried tomatoes. Throw that in there. Let that marry and get happy. So another different thing that I do with my chili, which I notice a lot of people do, is they like drown it in tomato sauce. I don't like doing that. I kind of like the natural flavor of the meat. I mean, there isn't much fat there, but that's okay. With all of the seasonings that we put in there, as well as all of the extra like fresh veg, it makes a really good flavoring. So what I do just makes sense to me, and it's kind of a shortcut. Use salsa. Has tomatoes, has onions, has jalapenos. It's already kind of like in the sauce. Why not? So I'm happy with that right now. We're gonna throw this in there. Then this sofrito, again, you're just basically using the same thing in a different form. This has the red peppers, the green peppers, garlic, onion. All good things, all great things to add to a chili. And it's the end of it, so just throw that in there. Waste not, want not. Something my grandmother, mother, anybody who's older taught me. So just a little bit of water. Get all of that looseness in there. Throw it into this. Do the same thing. Get all of that goodness in there. Pour it in there. There you go. That should hopefully be enough liquid for me to get this into the chili consistency that I want. Let's see. Okay, well, we have the color, which is good, but still a little too thick for my liking. So what are we gonna do? Let me add a little bit of water. So I don't have much tomato sauce, and I only have pasta sauce, so I'm gonna use some of that, just to give me a little bit more of the consistency that I want, as well as add a little bit of water, just like that. Mix this up. Let's see what we're working with here. Much better. Much better. Okay, cool. So now, let's turn that off. We have a little boilage over there on our pasta. All right. This is looking good. Now, let's add a little this to give us that little flavor is, boom, Frank's Red Hot. Put that shit on everything. Yes, we do. And we'll douse it in a little bit of this. Then we'll let the flavors marry here. We stir this up real quick. And then we have to put our co-star to this main dish here, which is going to be, boom, drained off, washed white cannellini beans, red kidney beans. Stir that in. Just like that. It's looking like a chili there, huh? There you go. Now, this is great. Okay, I'm very happy with that. Now I want this to kind of cook off a little bit. Let me add a little bit more water. Just like that. Give it a little taste, see where we're at. Perfect. It doesn't need anything, seriously. That Frank's Red Hot really has everything, and then the addition of the salsa and the sofrito makes it perfect. So that's perfect. This, cover. Simmer on low. It's cooked already. Now you're just letting all the flavors come together. Watch your hand with the stainless steel pans. All right, now let's focus on this thing here. You guys come back up here. Hello. So we have our pasta cooked off, drained off. Pasta rigati, like I said. These guys, all right? Drain them off. What we need for the roux is butter, flour. Butter and flour. So, if you know me, then you know me well. I don't do anything regular, so I don't use butter. We're going to use, I can't believe it's not butter, but it tastes just like butter. So let's bring you guys into the pan here. Good? Good. Stella move, mama. All right. So you guys are here with it. Let's get our flour. We have our butter. Let's get to mixing. We have our milk. We're not using milk, guys. What we're using? Cashew milk, okay? So, this is nice and hot. First thing we want to do, butter. Looks like a lot, it's okay. We use the whole box of pasta. This should last me today and tomorrow. During the storm, we should be cool. Let that melt off. Okay, like that. What you want to do here? You want to take some of this. Try to make it equal. So I call that 4 tablespoons of butter, 4 tablespoons of flour, and get to mixing. Get to mixing. You want to cook it off. You want to cook it off. You want all the flour to get mixed up like that. Yep, just like that. Beautiful. You want it on a not so high heat so you don't burn it, which I'm doing right now. Get a little bit of that butter in there. Nice. Nice. Now, slowly incorporate your milks. In our case, almond milk. Let it come together and do it again. Let it come together, do it again. It'll totally be worth it. Totally be worth it. So it's simple, but these little steps make the meal that much better. So you see how that's kind of spread out? Okay, cool. add a little bit more milk, slowly but surely. And then I showed you guys earlier, you know, a tip is always to use block cheese instead of the shredded cheese. Yeah, that's also an extra step, but the flavor goes a long way, and that's what we'll be doing here. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put this together, get the roux right, put the pasta in there, and then I'll go ahead and shred the cheese. Make sure this is kind of runny, that way I can put it in the oven, and then the cheese will come together with the pasta in there. So you see how this is expanding? Beautiful. I know it's taking forever, but again, it's worth it. Now we could go a little bit more. Just want to break up all of the little flour pockets or granules. So you like this little bad boy here, get out of there. And then what I like to do, this is still coming together. Keep your eye on your chili flavor right here. So we go black pepper, fresh ground pepper. I like mine a little peppery, a lot peppery, clearly. Pink Himalayan sea salt. There's gonna be a lot of salt in the cheese, so don't overkill on the salt. Just give the roux a flavoring. A little different, a little nutmeg, fresh nutmeg, not a lot, just a little. It gives it a nice little flavor. Cool, let's mix this up. We don't want it to stick, very important. Nice, okay. I think that's great here. Now, something else that I do to add a little extra cheesiness. I didn't grind up my cheese, but shortcut. Take a little bit of already ground up Parmesan cheese. The real stuff, not that like imitation stuff. Not much, but put it in the roux. That way you have cheese incorporated everywhere. This cheese, that cheese, all cheese, cheesiness here is a good thing, so that's okay. Mix that up. I think we're good there. Our pasta is drained off. Let me bring the pasta back. Yes, I'm happy there. Okay, we'll leave that there. Let's look at our chili. How's our chili coming along? Chili, ooh, that's nice, right? Yeah. Here we go. Mix this up. Beautiful. Again, very important. You see this guy? We're keeping this guy together. We don't want him to burst. But I'm very happy with this here. Now this is just whatever. I could actually just turn this off because that's done. Let's drop our pasta into the roux. Don't drop the whole thing in. Like, make sure everything gets covered. Nice and covered. Nice. Okay. Nice and covered. You want it all in the pot, not on the floor. Cool. That's in there, right? Take this. Make sure that that roux gets over everything. This is basically a bechamel sauce, what we're doing here, okay? But you see how it's all covered here? Who cares about the cheese right now? The cheese that I'm gonna put, the amount of copious amounts of cheese that I'm gonna put on this so I can bake is gonna be amazing. So, boom, that's what you want there. This is without the cheese. You see how nice and gooey that looks right there? That's the makings of a wonderful, delicious, soul-touching mac and cheese. So turn your heat off. Let's let that come together. Cheese, we're gonna use a New York cheddar cheese, which is extra sharp, a little bit of Monterey Jack cheese, and actually a little bit of Musfatella cheese. So this is basically cream cheese with less fat. I'm actually gonna throw that straight into here while it's hot. Again, just incorporate another extra cheese flavor before we add the real cheeses, the well-known cheeses. I'm gonna grind up those cheeses that I just showed you guys. Throw this bad boy in a baking dish. We have our oven preheating. And then we're gonna get this done. And that'll be the meal, guys, basically. All right, guys, so we finished with the shredding of the cheese. We got the chili done, just sitting, hanging out. We have our mac and cheese minus the main cheese done. Now what we're gonna do now is just bake it off. I have my oven set at 400. I'm gonna go ahead and bring that down to 350. We are going to be using a PYREX bake pan, glass. These things are great. Here's all the cheese that we're gonna be using in there. So all I'm gonna do is bring this over like so. Show you guys what we're working with here. Here we have it. This is minus the cheese, so you can already see the gooey factor here. What I would like to do here, another layer of flavor. Every time you mess with it, put some flavor on there. It's all right. Not too much of the salt, but something, because I tasted it and it does need a little bit of salt. All right, now we can bring the cheese in. This cheese right here, we're gonna just like mix it in first and then we'll top it off. But we have the yellow cheese, we have the Vermont cheese, we just have cheese on cheese on cheese. And it's mac and cheese, so it should be. Here we go. Cool. Now, just mix that up. Mix that in. Make sure the cheese gets everywhere. And because the pasta is a little bit hot, it'll start melting right away. So just make sure that it doesn't stick to the mixing utensil, whatever you guys are gonna be using. Make sure it actually like gets to different levels as you're doing it. Cool. So that's cheesy enough. I'm happy with that. It already tastes amazing. Now we'll take the rest of this cheese, just lay it right on top, just like that. Let it all melt right on top. There's cheese in there, there's cheese on side of there, there's cheese everywhere. So that's what you want. Here we go. One more time. Flavor it. Not flavor, season, excuse me. Okay. A little salt. We'll take a little bit more of the nutmeg here. There you go. So I have my oven at 350. This is a cooked dish. I just want the cheese to cook over, simmer, melt. So we put this in. And what more can I say? I mean, it's good to get back in the kitchen, honestly. Second wave, we're getting a crazy nor'easter storm. Who the hell knows what the hell's happening, but whatever. I'm here for it. This is one of many recipes that are coming. The next recipe I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be incorporating a really, really great coffee bean. Instead of drinking it, because I'm not a coffee drinker, I'm going to use it in a dry rub. And it's actually one of my really good friends' company who's producing this coffee. He went all around the world to find the best beans, all of that. I'll explain it to you in the next episode, but nevertheless, thank you guys for following. Stay tuned. I'll show you the picture of everything once it's done and plated. Let me know what you guys think. Follow, share, all that good stuff. You know what you have to do. Thanks for the love. I'll see you guys.